Oh shit. We can talk about it on the podcast. Yeah, but like, we've already talked about how much of that. Great topic for the podcast. I don't really All right. Welcome everybody to the Lunchtime Banter Podcast. I am your host Jora, alongside with my co-hosts Kevin, Gurjot, and Preeti. And this is episode number 17. Thank you all for joining us.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really 17?
Okay.
17 down.
Oh, shit.
Can't wait for 20.
Yeah, oh my. 20's gonna be good.
Okay, anyways.
I think we might have alluded to it at the last a few episodes ago.
What?
That 20's gonna be possibly something special.
Possibly.
Another interview.
Hopefully.
Everybody digs it.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, I think we just all want to give our condolences to the victims of the New Zealand shooting. Many of you probably heard what's been going on. And today we're just going to have a little bit of a discussion about kind of what's going on in the world when it comes to these hate crimes. So,
honestly, there's not much you can say when something that horrible, terrible happens. Like, you just look back and be like, it shouldn't be happening. And it's like, how can we avoid this? You're like, why did it happen? And it just, when you go through the minds of like people who do that type of shit, it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around what the fuck they are thinking.
Oh, yeah. Like,
and it's like, why would you do that type of thing? And just like the way that, like what led them to that type of thinking too, that's also part of it. And it's like,
he thought like he was gonna solve something by doing this. It's crazy. Like, how do you solve something with violence? It's nuts.
yeah.
I think ignorance and fear plays a lot into this. You know, people are ignorant. They don't know, and they don't go and seek knowledge. And that creates fear, disproportionate fear. And that's why you have a lot of these hate crimes happen is because of just people are fearful, right? And they think they need to do something, which in their minds is they're doing the right thing, which is absolutely crazy because anytime you're hurting anybody else, you know, at the end of the day, we're all human, you know, cut one, cut another. We all have the same blood running in us. We're all human. And, you know, going out and harming anybody else who's a civilian or a human being, you know, it just,
or any living thing, actually.
It doesn't make sense. And how you can justify it doesn't make any sense.
Anybody read his little manifesto thing?
I have not, but I heard he like plotted this for like 2 years.
Oh, dude, it's pretty nuts. And then it kind of, like, some people were saying, oh, his manifesto is bullshit, but then the prime minister came out and said, like, oh, he sent it to all of us like 10 minutes before everything happened. So inside, it's supposed to like take a little look inside of like why he did it, and he's like, oh, questions I can answer, or questions I would be asked. And he just went to he's like, oh, I'm an ordinary white person, you know, and I'm just trying to protect like white people. He's like, other people are coming in and taking our land, and our, like, there's not going to be as many white people. He's like, oh, white people aren't making enough babies. Each woman needs to be making like 2.06 children and stuff like that.
wow.
We went to decimal?
Yeah, he went 2.06.
If you look at
the
fertility rates.
the fertility rates, like when you're just using, I'm going to use this word, just they talk about like different civilizations, like for not civilizations, different communities, for them to grow, right? You have to reproduce at I think at least 2.4 or something like that, and that will ensure that your community keeps going forward. They're saying that in North America, Caucasians are already like they're at like I think their average is 1.3.
Really?
Yeah, and that even if they started to reproduce now more, that they're already in such a decline that they'll never be able to make up the difference. So like over I don't know what period of time, but what we know Caucasians as today will no longer be.
That's like, I feel like that's like what the world's gonna go to. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like a little beige. That's
It will be.
everyone, like,
100%.
every single
Yeah,
person.
We've
that's
jumped.
just
We've
it.
jumped
Yeah.
continents now.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
you know, like it's
we're
not
global.
we're
It's-
global.
it's- yeah.
right.
We're
It's
new.
inevitable.
Yeah. But back to his little manifesto thing. So he's like, oh, we need to be producing more and stuff like that. And these people who come into our lands and take it, those need to be stopped. And like the immigration, like it's their own fault type of thing. Like because they immigrated, he's like, I don't give a shit if these Muslims are in their own country doing whatever the fuck they are doing. But if they come to these type of countries, like where there's white people, these are our land. They shouldn't be here type of thing. And then they're like, and because he's originally from Australia and went to New Zealand, they're like, what the fuck, aren't you an
Yeah.
immigrant? He's like, no, I'm still white type of thing.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but like Australia isn't white land. That's
Yeah.
Aboriginals were there before
Yeah.
England started sending their prisoners there.
Even New Zealand,
Same
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
New Zealand,
Samoan, all the-
the Maoris, right?
The
Yeah.
Maori, yeah.
Like they're indigenous. Like
exactly.
you know. Yeah.
It just
It makes
like,
no sense.
like, because people are like, oh, it's bullshit when it first came out, because it's actually pretty ridiculous, some of the things he says. Like, he was like, if you were put into prison, like, what would you, he's like, oh, I'm going to 100% plead not guilty, and I'll be released, and I'm going to get a Nobel Peace Prize for my work for killing these people and shit.
Wow.
It's like, yo, are you fucking serious?
How delusional is this guy, man?
Seriously.
But I think that's kind of what happens if you spend all your time talking to other, because there are people that are like condoning what he
Yeah,
did
yeah,
and
yeah,
saying
yeah.
like,
If you're-
yeah, you did good and stuff. And so if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
listening to that all the time and
Yeah.
people are just pumping you up like that all the time, then
Think
you
about the
can
senator.
Yeah.
He's saying that like,
Exactly.
oh, they deserved it basically. And It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's like they create a false reality around themselves. And
Exactly.
The far right, yeah, and then other people who have similar mentalities, especially when you're in a position of power.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things with Donald Trump, right? He's a person of position of power, and because his views are very similar, that's why you have this like hate movement kind of going on, this divide.
It's funny that you mentioned that. He like mentions Donald Trump in his thing, and he's like, basically, what I want to do is using the gun. He's like, I want to further do that divide where there's like, you know, the people who are for guns, people who are for it, and like further that like racial divide as well. But he's like, what I want Donald Trump as my president. He's like, fuck no.
He
What?
wouldn't
For what?
want-
He's like, what I want Donald Trump as my president or prime minister. He's
Yeah.
like, fuck that, no.
Wow.
But I think for the shit that he's doing, where it's like it's basically furthering his agenda, where he wants that divide and he wants these
kind of race
racial,
wars.
yeah, type of thing. He's like, oh, it's
So
fucking so good for that.
He's
Yeah.
from Australia, but he cares about what's happening in
Yeah.
the States.
He's
I
trying
think
to start race
because
wars
it's
and-
just white people in general.
That's crazy.
That's what his like agenda is. Like, I want white people to reign supreme.
That's crazy.
Oh wow.
This guy's in the wrong era, man.
Yeah.
Nuts,
Um,
absolutely nuts.
and just the heartlessness of how he carried it out, live streamed it. Just
Oh, dude, it looks like a fucking video game, a fucking first-person video game.
I thought it was like one of those fake ones. You know, we've seen the people have sent fake videos before of like a guy, and it looks like he's like escaping. He was like a prisoner, and then he escaped, and like he beat the shit out of all these people, and it was like super like first person shooter type of thing. I thought it was fake at first, and then I was like, yo, what the hell? This is like real.
yeah,
I wouldn't advise anybody watch it, but if you've seen it, you know what we're talking about.
yeah.
But that was the weirdest part, was how he was blasting just like music I've heard, like just normal stuff before he was talking pretty normally before all this too, and then
Who said that?
to just I heard that he was on the live stream that he streamed and stuff.
He was talking to
He was
the,
talking. He was
okay.
blasting just normal music.
While
Like,
he's like driving that kind of thing.
yeah, like it
Getting in the
was,
zone.
yeah,
That's crazy.
like
That's
it
so
was
fucked.
fucked.
You were talking about how he like how it kind of ended, or like how it kind of
Oh yeah, yeah, because he did end up driving from one mosque to another.
yeah.
And then apparently it was at the second mosque where
Before he even entered.
I think it was before he entered. The story, the way I read it, was that a man named Abdul Aziz, he was the one that he kind of noticed.
I heard that name on the
Yeah,
news as well.
He noticed something outside. He noticed this guy dressed up in tactical gear and everything, and he at first he was like, oh, maybe he's a police officer or something, but then he started yelling profanities and saying crazy shit, and then he started shooting. And by that point, Abdul just got his kids to stay inside, and he was like I just got to get this guy's attention all on me. And so he starts yelling stuff at him, and he goes outside with, I think it was like a cash register machine,
like a credit card machine type of thing.
Yeah, and like he just grabbed whatever the fuck he could find and just whipped it at the guy. The attacker, he had no more ammo in his gun, dropped his gun, started running back to his car to grab another one, grabbed one. Abdul had to actually hide between other cars and stuff, but then saw his gun that he had dropped, which was a shotgun, picked it up, pulled the trigger, but it was empty, and that's when he just lanced threw it at the back of the guy's car. It hit the windshield, broke the back window, and the attacker legit got scared off, and he jumped in his car and started driving off. And that was when it was once he left from there that the cops apprehended him.
Wow, that's that's heroics, man.
Yeah.
Putting your life on the line like that,
Exactly.
like knowing that, you know, your kids are right inside, but at the end of the day, if you don't do something, you know your dad as well. So you might as well do what you can.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, you have two choices. Run off with your kids.
Fight or flight.
Oh, yeah.
And that was where, like, somebody did try and attack him in the first mosque too, but
They're gunned down.
Yeah, there
that
was
shit was hard to watch.
one of the things that I had read is that when he was entering the first mosque, the person who was just outside taking their shoes off, he's like, "Oh, hello, brother," right, and greeted him.
Greeted somebody all dressed up in tactical gear with guns.
Greeted him, and then that's when he started his assault, which is just fucking wild, man.
That's crazy, man.
So, you know, this person greeted him with love and compassion, and this is what this guy does.
Yeah. But that was just it. Like, he didn't see them as people. Like, they weren't even human beings to him.
Yeah.
And that's where, when you get stuck in those echo chambers, just listening to your own bullshit and other people's bullshit about how terrible these people are, that's where this stuff happens.
I was like reading online, and like I like how a lot of people now want to call this what it is, fucking like straight up terrorism. I hate how a lot of people who are like still try to be like, oh, he's white, all right, he's just a mental retard.
This is somebody who's mentally challenged, a lone wolf.
Yeah,
Fuck
and that's
that
the thing,
shit, man.
With the way he was talking and stuff too, I can barely even blame mental illness. Like, he knew what he was doing.
He was of sound mind.
Like
it's just that's what he believed.
That's what
his belief was.
Yeah.
So like trying to say that he's mentally ill, yada, or lone wolf. Fuck, I don't give a shit about lone wolf. At the end of the day, it's terrorism.
Oh yeah.
The definition of terrorism, and I don't know word by word, but is basically to enact fear in somebody else.
That's literally what
And that's
his
literally
manifesto said.
To terrorize.
To terrorize somebody else. And that's exactly what this individual did. So it doesn't matter what, you know, you can call him whatever you want. He's a terrorist.
Oh yeah.
Right? And that label, whether, you know, if the media is so quick to label any other person of skin color a terrorist, they should be able to do it to Caucasians as well.
I don't know. We were talking before, like, oh, should we talk about Islamophobia or not? And like the thing I look at it, like my point of view from this, it's like, okay, there was terrorist attacks that happened, and like there were some Muslim people behind it. Now these aren't actually, they're not fully following like the Muslim faith. That's not how the Muslim faith goes. They're the same type of people who they're like, I don't want to say like redneck, but like they're kind of like, they take one piece of writing or scripture and they'll like
that's not redneck. It's like just extremist. Like,
kind of extremist, and they'll be like, oh, let's go. This is what it says. Okay, we're gonna go fucking kill these people now. And there's people who are heartless, and they're not people who represent the faith.
Yeah, exactly.
And these are the people they go out, carried out some attacks, and it obviously looked. But I hate how it like casted a shadow all over the Muslim people, and it's like, oh, they're all like this now. And then now if you go to the other side, it's like these people who carry out attacks on the Muslim people now. And it's like, you know, they're not actually representing the Christian faith either.
Exactly.
They're just, or like representing any faith. They're not representing any faith. In any faith you go, it's always like, you know, in Bible, it's like love thy neighbor. Or it's like do seva. And like in almost every single faith is pretty much about spread love. Yeah. Spread love, you know, be, when you, what's it called?
Kind to each other.
Yeah.
It's basically like treat each other
like you want to, the golden rule.
Yeah, the golden rule.
Like the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah. And just like kind of live in like a unity type of thing where everybody can live amongst each other, and just people have different beliefs, whatever. Everybody can still love each other and just understand and respect each other. Yeah. But people who carry out these attacks like for their faith, they're not representing their faith. Fuck that.
I believe like
that's just a poor excuse.
Yeah, I believe that type of person doesn't matter which religion they were. They would go to the extreme, whichever one they were in, and they'll be like, "Oh, I gotta attack the other one."
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't agree with like people like giving Muslims a bad rep, like they're like doing these types of
just
shit
imagine
and,
if
like,
that was
doing extreme stuff.
your faith,
Yeah.
and you're just
Yeah.
getting beat down, and you're like,
Yeah.
yo, that's not me, man. That's not
Yeah.
me. And it's getting beat down, dude.
Yeah.
And-
And now in like some places and like some places online, like Christians are kind of getting that bad rep too. And like I don't agree with that either. It's like I don't care what these people think. It's like those people aren't representing the Christian faith.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
And that's the way you gotta, we all need to unite,
Yeah.
not become further separated. This is like,
Yeah.
this is where you need to unite and be like, whether you believe in God or not, as a human, you just need to unite and say, listen, we are all people, we are all one, and we all condemn and do not agree with this violence. And the people who commit that violence, that's, they're not a part of any faith. Don't attach them to a faith.
Yeah.
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 Just because they say they're doing it for
Exactly.
that doesn't it literally means they're
Yeah.
not of
Well,
that faith.
the
basically.
craziest part is the extremists end up being more like the people they're fighting than
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the moderate, normal people
Yeah.
aren't, and like they aren't anything like Muslims and Christians can be quite different in their daily habits, but then the extreme Muslims and the extreme Christians are pretty similar in what they
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
They're same
It
type of
just
people.
sucks because
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, who gets hurt the most? The innocents, the people who
Exactly.
actually like follow their faith, or like they haven't harmed anyone, but you're going and harming them. It's
Yeah.
like why? They haven't done anything.
Exactly.
And just, kids, women,
Yeah.
helpless
Yeah.
people.
The
Unarmed,
youngest
helpless
victim of
people.
This incident was, I think, a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Youngest was a 3-year-old.
terrible,
Yeah.
man.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like even like watching that video, I feel like I feel like a little bit desensitized that like, I see a shooting, and it's like, we've seen this over and over and over again, and it's just like, there's another shooting. It's like you can't be. We're always shocked by it, but it's like, you can't be like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
It's fucking just keeps on happening.
It's
and
crazy
happening
you
and
say
happening.
that, because that's exactly what I thought. Like I was so desensitized
Yeah.
because it doesn't stop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like there's so many, whether it's this shooting, whether it's a school shooting, whatever it
Yeah.
is, when will it end,
Yeah.
right? What needs to change?
Yeah. There's been so many school shootings now. Now there's like jokes about school shooting.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. Like, who fucking makes jokes about school shootings? But there's like
Memes
those are
and
things.
shit.
Well, apparently even worse than that is officers and stuff are having to have assemblies with kids in elementary schools and tell them
What to do.
Oh, yeah.
during
Oh,
a
yeah.
fucking live shooter.
Yeah.
Like we
kids
do.
shouldn't have to be like, okay, what do I like a fucking 5-year-old being like, okay, what do I do if somebody with a gun comes
Yeah.
in
Into
and tries
school.
to kill me and all my
Yeah.
friends?
Like we have earthquake drills here. They have school shooting drills in the U.S.
yeah, like
Oh,
we
they have
always
them here too.
we always had
They have them here
lockdown
now?
Them
drills.
here too. Lockdown drills.
We always had
Yeah.
lockdown
and
drills.
like
yeah.
they'll like literally, and especially like in high school and stuff, they literally say, if somebody comes through there like this, we gotta hide like this. You don't want to make noise. You don't want to have your phone light up. You don't want to do this. And it's like all these little things where like basically preparing that. There's
Yeah.
fucked up people out there now. If somebody comes in here with a gun, the fuck do we do?
But like I remember doing that in elementary school,
I don't.
but it was always
don't?
like it was always
Not
just
even
a,
in high school.
It was very light though. It was like one time
Yeah.
through high school. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, this is
Yeah.
what you do. That's
But
it.
I don't even remember doing it in high school.
But for us, it was always about an angry parent
That's
or
what it
somebody looking for a specific individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always
It
just
was
hide,
an
be
aggressive
quiet,
or
don't.
something like that.
Yeah.
It was never hinted.
It
that
was never like
a
these-
gun. It was
somebody's
like-
coming just to kill you
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they just want to kill people. Like it was never about
was never
that.
like
It was
that.
always just like shut up, be quiet,
Yeah.
stay hidden, make it seem like you're not there.
Yeah. Now
Like,
it's
what
what
Because
if-
they're not
like,
looking for you. But now
'cause-
it's like they're breaking down doors, and even with this one, they haven't released too many details because apparently stuff that had to do with other live shooting is the reason he went back in and made sure people that looked like they were dead, he went back and shot them again to make sure. Because from the Orlando shooting, people said we just pretended to be injured and laying on the ground, and we got out alive, and like
That's
it's
crazy.
fucked.
he even had gas tanks in the back of his car. Like
Yeah,
I don't know if he
gonna
was planning
burn
on like
them
Oh,
down.
like
Yeah.
kicking it, like getting out of there,
like burning it down.
He was
Oh,
gonna burn
burning it
down
down.
the
Yeah.
mosques, yeah.
Like he had jerry cans
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, Jerry can. Oh, like
In-
he was. Oh shit.
in the back of
He's
his
gonna burn
thing
the
as
fucking
well.
thing down.
Yeah. And even then, like he kind of hesitated, and I don't know, man. It's just fuck
Yeah.
how your brain can tell you that that's righteous and that's a right
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah.
And they caught him.
Yeah.
and so he's alive, but
They already had him in court, I think already.
Oh, really?
but
Like the next day almost or some shit.
and Christchurch is like a major city.
I
Like
think
this
the
is
third largest city in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the prime minister, she like banned semi-automatic the next day.
In
Yeah.
24 hours.
That's
She's like, "Fuck this, we're doing something
Yeah.
about this
Yeah, that's-
right away."
And the U.S. just keeps talking about it.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. They barely talk about it anymore. Even they don't
Yeah.
even care. It's like when the
NRA's in there
politicians-
too deep, man.
Yeah.
NRA is way too deep with them.
You know how it's like, oh, gun control, ban all guns, and like people's main argument is like, oh, the guns don't kill people, the people kill people, and it's just a tool, this and that. But the problem is, I feel like the gun control, it's more about tougher screening process.
That's what
it's
it
not
is.
like, oh, fuck,
It's not
anybody
take them
can-
away
yeah.
or like any
Yeah.
of that. Just
If you are like basically, if you were able to go through all the tests, you can have a fucking gun. That's perfectly fine. But if you are not like basically mentally capable of or like have
But-
enough stability to be able to have a
But-
gun,
But he had it legally there. Right? That gun was legally bought.
well, a lot of the ones that even the
think so.
U.S. shootings are all legally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But-
but New Zealand has like a process like us and stuff.
But I think he had modified the guns.
Yeah, he modified them to
Oh,
make
yeah.
them auto.
Yeah.
Because I think they have laws like us, like
Yeah.
Canada, we're allowed semi-auto.
Yeah.
Not fully auto like the States. And he modified them to make them fully auto.
that's like the other argument. It's like, oh, even if you take away guns, people are still going to have guns. There's still going to be shitty people out there. And if they have a gun now and you don't, and it's like, oh, what are you going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the likelihood, especially in, I think, besides the U.S. and other countries, the likelihood of somebody else having a gun to combat somebody else with a gun is very,
Well,
very low.
Here in Canada, you're not even allowed shooting somebody in self-defense.
You
Yeah,
can't. You
yeah.
get you
That's-
you will
you'll
get charged.
You'll go to
Yeah.
jail.
It's the first
Even
thing
if he's shooting at you first and you shoot back at him, like you're.
It's the first
Yeah.
thing I learned in my gun course, and they said, listen, guns in Canada are not for self-defense.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like the likelihood of you getting off on charges and saying it was self-defense is extremely rare because the double lock system, right? They're gonna be like, how are you able to unlock two different things,
And then
load it, and in time to quote unquote save yourself?
Yeah. Because
Right.
if you have that much time, you can get away.
Yeah.
Call the
police
cops or
and-
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know where are we going with this one.
It needs to be like a whole culture change.
But yeah, in America, for example, like they need to all they need to do is better screening. If you have been flagged for some reason, right, with any sort of
Even like a violent, what's it called? Like violent assaults or anything.
yeah,
Violent crimes.
Yeah,
any
any
sort of
violent crime.
any sort of violent
Yeah,
crime, like that right there is a big red flag of like maybe we shouldn't give this person a gun.
I think they need to shut down those convention things first.
Oh,
I,
yeah,
I
that's
can't
the
believe they're
biggest
still
loophole.
to the
going. I
convention.
can't believe they're still
Crazy.
on.
That's the
Did you
most
see that
retarded.
one video they put on
The-
Facebook? The kid goes
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna
he goes
say.
to 7-Eleven to buy a
Yeah.
lottery ticket.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, no,
No.
man,
Liquor store?
you're not 21. You
Yeah.
can't buy a thing. He goes to a liquor store.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, where's your ID? He's like, they're like, no, man, you're not 21. You can't get that.
Yeah.
And then a lottery ticket, liquor, cigarettes.
One more, yeah.
And then he goes to this gun convention and he's like, yo, I want a gun. The guy's like, no problem, sir. Here you go. Packs it up for him and he walks out of there with a gun right away.
Wait, tell me more about this convention.
It's like America has a ton
Yeah.
of gun
All over.
expos
Expo,
all over
Yeah,
the place.
because the loophole is that they're collector's editions, and so you're buying it at this convention because it's like, oh, this is a very special gun that I want to purchase right now because for my collection.
Yeah.
These are still usable guns, and you could just be like, oh yeah, this AK-47 is a very like the most common gun, but
So they
oh no,
literally
it's
have
a special
expos
one.
with tables with freaking guns all over it,
Yeah.
and you
You
go
can
there and be like, give me
buy
that
'em
one.
right
Give me
away.
that
Goddamn
one.
You
flea
can,
market.
you can walk out. It's like
Yeah.
a flea market for guns.
Yeah, straight
and
up.
you can literally walk
And
out
that
of
kid
there
was
right away.
under 21.
Yeah,
He's like 18 or something,
yeah.
That's
and he
a good
freaking got
time.
it there.
Because at 18, in America, you're allowed to buy a gun.
It's
Yeah.
fucked.
Well, depending on the state, I
Depending on
guess.
the state, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, we don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
That's the first one you need to shut down. Like that,
Yeah.
it would be. Oh, that's crazy.
Just they don't even do like basic checks.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Like here, we have a 48-hour rule. So like
Yeah.
if I go and apply,
Yeah.
if I go to buy a gun, I can't walk out of it
yeah,
right
Well,
away.
yeah, you can.
Certain ones.
Certain ones. Just like the
restricted ones you
Restricted
can't.
ones you can't. Like
Right?
handguns.
And even when you go get your license, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's like a 48-hour.
You can't get one right
yeah,
away, right?
Yeah, there's no such thing as just issuing it
Yeah,
right away, like
yeah.
because
Because if you're pissed off at somebody and you want to
Exactly.
kill
They
them,
want
you
you
have
to
enough
Yeah.
time.
Calm down.
they want you to calm down, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
And then
makes
the
sense.
checks,
It is, yeah.
like if you have a spouse, you have to put their name down. And they're gonna confer with the spouse. They're gonna be like, oh, does he get angry often? This and that.
Yeah.
If you're going through a divorce, you have to disclose it. Right.
Yeah.
And then if you've been divorced, your other partner has to be aware that you're getting a gun
Yeah.
and has a say in whether you get one or not.
Yeah.
That's a good
Right?
time.
Like it's a way more restrictive, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
because at most you're using these guns for what? You should be using them either just for fun,
It's
target
hunting and
practice,
target
or
practice.
hunting.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No such thing as self-defense and
Yeah.
tactical.
Ready.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
ready.
Exactly.
Just in case. Always.
Always prepared.
That's one thing. Like, cause I was had a couple of buddies from America come down, and then I was like, "Why do you guys always have guns? You guys are always like pumping up your guys' wars, and like they're like, oh, just in case nobody fucks with us, this and that." And I was like, "But why do you need that?" It's like, oh, somebody's only gonna fuck with you because you're doing stupid shit or something. I was like, up in Canada, like we have our military and stuff, but we're not always ready. We're not always have to like watch our backs. Like, oh, somebody's gonna get us.
It's like an old mentality they still have in their
Yeah.
mind.
I
That
think
made
it-
sense like a couple hundred years ago. It made sense.
Yeah, but
maybe even
America
100
wasn't even around when it made sense.
No,
You
it
know?
made sense. Look at the Wild Wild West there.
Actually,
But they like
It was because of the civil unrest is why their
Yeah.
gun
Yeah.
laws are like that.
Yeah.
It's because it wasn't even outsiders. It was just within themselves. Because the way the governments used to function
Yeah.
and oppress people, this was now that they're democratic, that the civilians would have the right to bear arms, so that if the government ever tried to flex on them, they would be their
Yeah.
own army.
Exactly. It was so that the people could stand up
So
to
the
the
people
government.
could stand up to the
Yeah.
government.
It made
Yeah.
all made sense back then.
Back
Back
then.
when it was a single shot musket where you would
Yeah.
have to fucking
Yeah.
take 10 minutes to load it
Yeah.
and get one shot off. That's when it made sense. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense anymore.
And I think they're just like America's weird. They're scared to change. They don't want to change anything.
I think another big part of it is that America's has as much money and power and influence as they have because of wars.
Yeah.
They made all their money during World War One and Two.
It's the war machine, man.
And that's where that's the only way they've known how to make money, so they just keep it going. Cold War, Vietnam, like it's just
Even
war
now,
after war
it's-
after war.
They don't stop.
Yeah, because they make the tanks, they make the weapons, and then sell it to the enemy.
Yeah.
Like they just
We're gonna
that's how they
train
get
you
their
to
money.
fight us, and then we're gonna come fight you.
Yeah, exactly.
If
and
I
take
was
your
them, I'd
resources.
put like a secret thing in there that
Where
turns them all off.
disables all
Yeah,
of them.
turns
Yeah.
them all off.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time.
It's like that, and that's kind of like what they're talking about Huawei. It's going on again now, saying as much as everyone's saying like, okay, they can't do anything. Like we'll know if their stuff is compromised, but some of the scientists are like, listen, all it takes is like one line of code out of
Yeah,
millions of
yeah.
lines of
How
code.
you gonna find that?
And
Just
you're,
a
and
kill
you're not.
switch in there.
It's a
Yeah.
kill. It's like you'll need a microscope to do
Yeah.
that.
And these things are all connected to the internet and
Exactly.
connected to each other,
Yeah.
so it's fucking easy.
Yeah. So it's similar to it's very easy to do that kind of warfare today in this day and age. Oh man, enough talking about this. Guns and shit.
Yeah.
They need to definitely put some checks and balances in place though, because it's getting out of control. And saying that guns aren't the problem, to a certain extent, why do you need a fully automatic rifle?
Literally, it should be only in war, which wars are fucked up anyways now. But it should have been only for wars that you're allowed to have that.
Yeah, so in military, I understand,
yeah.
right? But I'm talking about civilians. Why
Why
should civilians be allowed to buy
Even-
fully automatic weapons?
even in the states where you're allowed to defend yourself? Why a fully
Why
auto?
fully auto?
What
Yeah.
are you?
But
Are you
again-
defending yourself from like hundreds of people?
You know
Like,
that
No, but I
Uzi, that
think that's
Uzi
the-
just does such a good job spraying everywhere.
You just get everything. No, but I think it does.
I know I
have
got
to do-
shitty aim, but I'll hit something.
one of them.
Oh fuck!
No, but I think it has to do with because they figure, well, all our army guys have fully automatic weapons. And so it's still that mentality of if the government tries to take over again and
Oh, I
push
see.
too much
That
power,
could be
then
it, yeah.
they have all the big weapons and we can't do anything. Do you have a fucking tank, buddy? Like,
Actually, some
you
guys
can't
do.
do shit
Oh,
anything
fuck, that's-
already.
Yeah, a couple guys.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Speaking of tanks, I read a fun story about World War One. I think it was a Russian wife. Her husband got killed in the war, and so she sold her house to buy a tank privately. and was just like, I'm gonna go kill these Nazis. Yeah,
Shut
so it was
the
World
fuck
War
up.
II.
Oh, so
Yeah,
it's two.
yeah. She was like, fuck these guys. They killed my husband. I have nothing left anyway. I'm gonna sell my house, all my shit, buy a tank, and go fuck them up.
Wow.
Where's she from?
Russia, of course.
Russia.
Fucking sick. Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
Just
Imagine making that like
That
decision.
purchase.
No decision just to do that.
Yeah.
And then you have no training.
No idea what you're doing.
You have no idea what you're doing. You probably can't even move the thing. You're just sitting in there.
Yeah. Oh, you
How
gotta.
do you
Can't
know
pay
to-
for the fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like you're gonna be
Start small.
rolling by and maybe like Russian army's probably gonna shoot you. Like, who the
Yeah,
fuck
but
is
who
this
the
guy?
hell is this?
Yeah. Well, she would have bought a Russian tank. And,
Yeah,
But even
Like,
still,
you're
they're
gonna,
gonna be
you're gonna
like,
like contact her. Hey,
Yeah.
tank, where are you going?
yeah.
are you with our unit? What unit are you with?
Yeah.
I'm my own unit.
Mother Russia.
Yeah.
My name is Buck, and I like to fuck. And roll out there with their tank. Blah, blah, blah. Oh man.
Even like foot soldiers and stuff like that. Countries just dropping bombs now.
Yeah, infantry.
Yeah.
Right. Like wars aren't fought in the trenches anymore.
Exactly.
Drones.
Yeah.
You don't even need a pilot.
Yeah.
Send a drone.
Exactly.
Like it's so
You don't even need to be in the country. You can be.
Yeah,
You
they're-
don't.
They're literally
On the other side of the
pilots are in,
in
the
the US,
States.
in the
and
States.
controlling drones. over there.
Exactly.
It's nuts. There's a movie about it. Ethan Hawke. You see that?
No, I haven't seen it.
Fuck, what it's
I
called?
think I've
And then he the shit that he goes through in his mind, like
Yeah.
he's like killing people on the other side of the world, and he's
All
just
day.
in this container. Like it's
a cubicle, basically.
No, but it's a literally a container, and they have them all set out.
I don't know if it was an Ethan Hawke movie. I watched a movie. Is it a movie or a show?
Or was it a dream?
No.
I watched a news piece on it.
Fuck, what was that show called?
Strike Force or
Oh,
something?
it's no. Remember I was telling you guys about that Amazon Prime show with the guy from The Office.
Oh, John Krasinski.
Tom,
Jack Reacher.
Jack.
No.
Or the other one.
God damn it, not Jack.
Fuck.
Reacher. It was a Tom Clancy show
Yeah.
called.
Oh yeah. Fuck!
Eight-
Now he said, "Why'd you say Jack Reacher?"
Fuck it.
I can't think of it. Yeah.
It's Jack Ryan.
It's Jack Ryan.
Right?
See, I was close.
In there, that's what it was. It was a guy. They're here and they're drone pilots,
Yeah.
right? So they do their shifts. They have their high profile targets, etc. And then they have like a pin board, like I'm 100 for 100 for my
Yeah,
targets.
yeah.
But like how disconnected they are from the reality of it.
Yeah.
So this guy ends up the drone pilot. He ends up bombing a civilian, right? They said it was the target.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the target, and he hit the
Basically, what happens every single day in this
exactly.
States.
Yeah.
Dude, this is you're like basically explaining the.
No,
Ethan Hawke
this
movie.
is like it's like a
a
side
show.
story within that story, right?
Oh, okay.
So this guy ends up bombing the civilian. It was like the guy's brother or his uncle or something like that. And then he finds out that he didn't get his target, and it shook him to the core.
Yeah.
So he won a bunch of money. I think he cashed out like his whatever, and then went to the guy's village. Went and met his father, and the guy's father is like doesn't know how to speak English, and he's like, "Yo, who's this American at my door?" Saw the guy's son and stuff like that, and then just left him with a wad of cash, like just left him with stacks of cash. And they're looking at him like, "What are you doing?" Right? And then, but it was good because like it, for a lot of people who, for these radicals, right, whether you're on one side or the other, it showed the human side. Like everyone, they're all people, man. At the end of the day, right?
But that's
But-
the artistic view of it.
Yeah.
The other side of it that's kind of scary is think about these drone pilots sitting just at home.
It's a fucking
basically,
video game, man,
doing
to
it all the
them.
time.
Yeah.
But then if you're reading shit about how terrible these people are and stuff, you can slowly start dehumanizing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not see them as people
That's
anymore.
true.
That's why you gotta have them so far away from him. Too.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta keep it. That
But
it's
then-
like you don't see no faces.
but then,
you
yeah,
just see
you-
little body like images.
Yeah, you're super far away from them, but you'll bring that hate home. And
Yeah,
like that's where it's like
That's why you
you're
guys gotta watch
furthering
that,
the divide.
that movie. It's called Good Kill. It's like Good Kill. That's what they do.
How old is it?
Probably 5 years old or something. Let me check.
shit.
The question everyone's gonna
Yep,
ask is:
5.
Is it on
Is it on-
Netflix?
I don't fucking
Amazon Prime.
That's all that matters.
Seriously.
Man, if you don't have a streaming app by now, screw you.
How many streaming apps do we have? We got tons.
No, I'm talking.
Is it on any of them?
No. I'm talking about like I got one right now. Hold
Like
on,
a
hold on.
pirate one?
Yeah.
Don't tell
Oh.
this.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
What?
Hey man, we do things
Legit.
legitimately.
Yeah.
We want people to legit download
Hey.
our podcast so we don't like pirate other stuff.
Yeah,
fuck?
man.
You can tell me about that offline.
You fool. What are you doing?
What? I'm trying to give the listeners a free way to. I think streaming is like.
It's all right.
I think it's like art, right? I believe like it should be just sent out there, like just a painting or whatever. Painting is obviously original. That's different, right? Now
But then,
something
like,
like
copies.
music, like it should be basically free, and it basically is now.
But
right?
how should that artist be compensated for their work?
Okay, so
Concerts.
no.
Gigs?
Like
Concerts
like Spotify,
Yeah.
right? So like I think the music thing's there already, right? Like you can listen to music whenever the hell you want for free, so nobody has to pay for music anymore. I think movies should be exactly the same.
Well, yeah, I guess Spotify, if you got the free version, you can listen to it for free. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
The only argument
You're
I
just
would
watching
see, though.
ads. Now they have
But music's a lot cheaper to make than movies are.
Huh?
Music's a lot cheaper.
I understand, but like there's that Crackle one.
Also,
Yeah.
only
The
on
app.
Spotify.
So Crackle does it because of ads?
So
It's
what it
free.
does is every 15 minutes they
I
throw
think-
ad in.
I think that one's
So
owned
it's
by
like
Sony.
it's like watching a movie on TV. Remember back in the day?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Like it would just be ad.
Yeah,
Back
but
in the
what
day.
I know that's so weird that it
You
said
know,
that.
5 years
back
ago.
remember back in the
Couple
day
of
when you'd watch TV and an ad would come on?
Dude, I don't remember
I
doing
don't
that. I don't remember it.
You know, like
I
so
don't
that
watch TV
you know
either.
that ad. So
Yeah.
who are they paying? Where does that money go
So
into?
to the movie.
No, from the music places, for like Spotify and stuff like that. You know those ads. Where
Yeah.
does that money go?
Spotify probably takes a cut and then they give the
have to
cut
pay
to
the
the
artist.
They have to pay the artist.
It's a
though.
ridiculous low amount, but they have to pay, and then they need to make a profit, so, which is fine with me. Right? You
Yeah.
want to do that, and if you want to pay the $10 without the ads, then that's cool too. It should be the exact same thing. The thing should start like Crackle, and it should become huge. That you want to watch it for free, fucking watch the ads. If you want to pay, you don't want the ads, pay for it. That's how it should be. And then
Yeah.
right, like that's.
How many people actually use Crackle though?
That's the thing.
Is there anything good on Crackle?
There's decent stuff. I watched one movie on it, but it was horrible because the ads. But it's
Just a shitty experience, guys.
it really was.
So basically, watch all the movies you want for free, but you're gonna hate all of them.
But at least it's
That
out
movie
there. No. Like art should still
It
be out
gives
there.
you the option.
Yeah, it gives you the
Yeah.
option. It should be always available for people to see and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing. These movie budgets are like fucking $100 million. Like they're a lot of money.
But
Where do you
they
get the
make-
upfront?
But they make a lot of money. Theaters.
Theaters
do.
aren't making that much money
No,
anymore.
no, not the theater
No,
itself.
man, it's got to
But-
be shit like Netflix and stuff like that,
Yeah.
where basically Netflix pays for it,
yeah.
and then we all pay
Yeah,
Netflix.
okay.
Music's gotta be
I'm
the
just
same
saying that
thing.
it should be all of them, and then I should be able to get it for free. Like, because that's what I do. Then, because if
Like, you
it's
just
not on
want it for
Netflix, I subscribe to Netflix. Subscribe to a couple. I have Amazon as well because I have Prime.
We need a
Whatever.
combo now.
But
We
if-
need,
yeah.
movies.
No,
and,
don't
No,
say
but
that
that's-
because that's where we're gonna get fucked.
Yeah,
we're back
we-
in cable world.
Remember
Then.
we talked about this.
what do you mean?
Dude, because
talked about this.
Then they're gonna make us be like, "Oh, you want that as well?" And it's similar to what
yeah, your
Crave
ad,
is doing.
your ad stuff doesn't make sense either because that's what they did with TV. TV
Yeah.
was originally free, and then like the ads were. The
Now you watch
payment.
a 45-minute show, and 35 minutes of the damn fucking show is ads.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying there should be a free version.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want it with the ad,
Then
there
pay
should
for
be-
it?
Yeah, pay for it.
But it's like the Crave TV app
Yeah.
that we downloaded.
Yeah.
Right. So now version 1 gives us access to like some of the HBO stuff, not all of it, and then we quickly realize
Yeah.
that we're getting fucked out of
Yeah,
most of
that-
what we wanted
that
because they want
literally
you to
have pay
buy
twice
because they
as
want
much.
you to buy the upgraded version of
You
it.
know what it was?
Huh.
All the HBO stuff, you could watch all the seasons except the last season for that one. So that if you want the last season, you have to pay
Holy.
double of the amount that you're paying.
Fucking bullshit, man.
That's how
But
they
I
get
paid
you.
it.
That's where they
But they
get
got
you.
us. They got us.
But dude, I've already watched all of Game of Thrones.
I can't
Oh,
believe
you
you already
said
caught
fuck.
up, man.
No, but like I just have it on all the time in the background.
You didn't watch it properly.
Shut
man.
That's not. That doesn't
Okay,
count.
stop.
Dude,
stop.
ask this guy. He's like, oh, I know everything except for the names and
You
like
shut
who they
yourself
are.
in.
It's like, well,
Okay.
shut up, man.
Okay.
You didn't even watch shit.
You
I
shut
don't
the
know.
fuck up
I just
first.
don't know their names, what they look like, or what they do. That's it.
But I've heard all the dialogue. Heard it all, guys.
The
All
soundtrack
right.
sick.
Now that you brought it up on the podcast, I'm gonna fucking say this. Okay, I told you
He's gonna dish
I
it.
don't know the names like very well, but that's in like regular life too. I fucking suck with names.
Forgets his own name.
He doesn't even know who we are half the time.
Yeah. Yeah, we all look alike to you, don't we?
Why do you think I did the intro?
Welcome to the podcast. I'm Preeti, and this is Preeti, and also Preeti.
But I know exactly what's happening in there. You can ask me any question you want, but I would have to tell you, like, oh, that guy that looks like this, the midget.
How dare
I
you?
don't think you can say that anymore.
I think he's called a small person.
Yeah. Little person.
Little person, small person.
What is the correct term?
I think
right now it's
little
person.
people.
Little people?
Little
Yeah,
people.
they like to be called little people.
Little
I think.
persons.
Persons?
No, but you know what? There is like a midget wrestling thing.
Yeah.
And like the guy who's the owner of it, he's
Well,
a
that's
small
the
person.
thing. It's
and
another
little
one of
person,
those like.
and he calls it
some of
himself.
them, yeah, some
Okay,
of them
look,
call themselves
but-
midgets. Some
but
say, oh,
He
call me
makes
a
money
little
basically
person.
off of it.
Yeah, but look, there's gonna be different opinions throughout them. They're gonna be like, one's gonna be like, oh, I don't want. Like, one
Yeah,
person's
that's
gonna be
true.
like, oh, I don't like being called that.
What's
One
that
person
guy's
gonna-
name from Peter
Dinklage.
Dinklage, right?
Dinklage.
Dinklage?
No, it's Dinklage.
It's Dinklage.
Dicklick?
I said Dinklage.
Okay.
Anyways,
You said what?
What was the last one you said?
What did you just say? He fucked up on the last one.
Yeah.
did I?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I said Dinklage.
Okay.
Dinklink.
I didn't say Dinklage.
I think you said Dicklage.
No,
Dicklage.
I did not.
Dicklage. Okay.
Anyway,
Go
shut
on.
the fuck
Who
up.
is that?
Who was that? He doesn't even know.
See?
Who?
He's the fucking Tyrion, the small guy from fucking
I don't
Game of
fucking know
Thrones.
names.
Oh
I don't
my
know
God.
names. I don't know name of actors. I don't even know name of characters. The
Anyways,
only
an elf
name that
too.
I know, the only character name that I know is not even from there. Michael Scott.
Hold on.
Just because he says Michael
the
Scott all the time. I don't even know
Anyways.
any of the rest of their names. I watched
What-
that
Yo,
your
that's
series
fine.
like twice.
Listen, what I'm trying to get at,
Dwight Schrute, I think, or something like that.
what I'm trying to get at is,
that.
I feel sorry for all the other little people because this guy's got the industry on lockdown. He gets
Oh, yeah.
every fucking
Yeah,
role,
yeah.
man.
But he's fucking fantastic. That's why.
He is. But
Somebody's
that's what I'm
gonna step
saying.
up though.
You got to give
That's
somebody else a
just-
chance too,
No.
man.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Set it out, man.
Yeah, but
Like,
You
fucking
want
prop-
equality, but if they're not good
there's
enough,
not-
that's their
the
fault.
thing is, there's not
prop up
enough
the rest-
roles.
Prop up the rest of your community,
There's-
man.
yeah, I get it, but there's not enough roles.
But that's why you have to start putting them in normal people roles. Damn it, they're regular people just like the rest
Yeah,
of
like
us.
why are they specifically in that
Yeah.
role? Like why can't the guy be in the office just as selling paper?
you
Yeah.
could.
Why doesn't he then?
Why you ask him?
Why don't you become his agent? Get him in there. They're gonna be-
This type of systematic discrimination is what's wrong.
No, but like movie people like use that. They like have to kind of use that. Like the new Star Wars, they're like, oh, no, we have to have like these many women. We have to have. These
Oh, yeah.
many
Oh yeah,
women."
the
They're like,
unions and shit.
The
do
gender
have-
equality, or not gender equality, but just
Overall equality type of
Equality,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense,
Yeah.
though, because you don't want to.
But I hate how they try to like, I don't know, put it in your face, type of thing. Like in
Oh,
Star
they
Wars,
make it like
I
extra.
don't-
Like oh
if
look,
whoever seen that whatever Star Wars, where like they had this little side story and it was completely useless a story, but I feel like they just did it because they wanted to be like, oh look at that, we're putting in equality and we're putting in all
Why?
this.
What did they
Which
put in?
Star Wars one was it?
diversity.
There's like 20
That's
of them
what I
now.
wanted to say.
Yeah, why
Uh,
can't you.
Solo or
Newest one, not
Solo?
solo.
Are you talking about the show?
Rogue?
Yeah, yeah,
Rogue?
Yeah.
The girl one?
yeah.
Are you talking about the show?
I don't remember anything. What the fuck
No,
are
the
you talking
movie.
about? You said movie.
The movie? Oh, the Star Wars.
What do you think about Star Trek?
I was thinking about Star Trek the whole time in my head. I'm thinking
Are you even
about
listening
Star
to us,
Trek.
you
I
fuck?
am, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, and then Spock killed Luke Skywalker.
Fuck you. I was thinking of Star Trek
But Star Trek has movies too, so why were you so confused? Why'd you go to the show right away?
because I was thinking Star. Oh, is he
Star
talking
Trek
about
is
Star
more
Trek
of
the
the
show, or is he
show.
talking about Star Trek the movie? And I'm like, I don't remember that in the movie. But yes, people were actually in an uproar that why did they make her so front and center, and why is she the Last Jedi?
Oh, what?
Oh,
People
I
are
don't,
mad
no,
about
no, I don't care about
You didn't
her.
know
It was
about
like
that?
the
There's a
side
huge
one.
controversy when that movie came out.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
there's a controversy about
Yeah, and
everything,
also
okay?
because John
Yeah, I don't
Boyega is
know.
black and stuff too. There's
Yeah,
a huge
yeah.
controversy.
And look-
There's-
look-
I
that's
fucking
stupid.
I hated what they did with like what's his face, Luke.
Why?
What?
Like how
What
he
about
was
it?
like, oh no, we.
Oh yeah,
he
how
just,
much of a pussy he is.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was like
yeah, he
so
was a
against
bitch
it.
at
Where it's
the
like he's the fucking believer.
Yeah.
He's the fucking guy who's always like,
No. But come on, look at the story. It's pretty good. Like he was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make another. What's his Darth Vader? No, not make it Darth Vader. What the fuck am I saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got scared that we're really just going in depth with Star Wars. eh?
Why did we?
Why did you start?
Yeah, why did you do this? Why did you do
Fuck
this? to
you
us?
guys. That's why.
We were,
opened
This
up.
was about diversity, not
I
Star
know.
Wars.
we were at what's his name from the Terrarium.
Terrarium.
A terrarium. Terrarium is where you keep like snakes and lizards and shit.
Is it?
Yeah. Reptiles.
Anyways,
It's a reptile aquarium.
when is the new season
Terrarium.
coming out of Game of Thrones?
Next month, April 15th, I think.
14.
14.
Oh yeah, this guy's
Hey.
yeah.
I'm pretty jacked up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Buddy,
catch up right now. I'm in the
I don't
middle
know.
of-
I don't know how I feel about it. Like, because season 7 kind of upset me a little bit. Like, I was kind of disappointed in
You're such a
lot of it.
fanboy. You're
Seriously.
No,
such
like-
a fucking fanboy. Can't you just enjoy it
Dude,
for what it is?
The books were better, man.
No,
Fuck
no,
you,
he's
buddy.
this
No,
guy's-
dude.
Kevin's
Seasons-
totally that
You're a
guy.
fucking fanboy.
Dude, seasons 1 to 6, I loved. It was just season 7. There was something about the pacing, something about the way, dude. They would go from one side of the fucking map to the other side and back in one episode. Shit like that would never happen before. Like
Okay,
it just
wait,
felt
but
so.
wait,
It felt so rushed and weird.
Last season, because they surpassed the books, right?
Yeah.
So that's
aren't
probably
they
what it
still?
is.
Aren't they still past? The
No,
book?
six,
Obviously,
dude.
they already passed the before.
By season 5 or 6, they were.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just last
And that's why
season.
like 5 and 6 were still good, but
Pretty-
it was just 7 that the
My
pacing
views
was
on
way
that
off.
are: why would you read the book when they've got a beautifully depicted visual that you can watch?
I've only read the first book.
You know what's so funny? Like I want to know what happens in the books, but I want somebody to make like a cartoon version of it or something. I'm not gonna read the books, but I want to know what happens in the books.
So like you'd prefer if somebody made a show of the books,
like Game of Thrones.
no, hold on, relax.
you fucking.
But a
moron.
cartoon version. You want to animate a Game of Thrones.
You dumbasses, because it's different stuff happening in there. That's why.
I know.
Yeah.
So I want
It
to.
is.
So,
Like Cheerio apparently
so
is like-
all that laughing, where is it now? You
I'm
fucking
still
bitch.
laughing at you.
I know. I'm gonna laugh at you regardless.
Fuck you guys.
I'm pretty rattled. It's only 6 episodes.
I know that's also
Okay,
what keeps
so-
upsetting me.
No,
Each
but-
season they keep going less and less and less.
Didn't they split it? Aren't they splitting this into 2? 6 this one, and there's gonna be a part 2 to this season.
No.
Another
no,
6?
no, no.
You stop.
They're just taking a season break in the middle like they always do, and
So it's gonna be 3 episodes. And they're gonna take a fucking break.
I think it's only like a 1 or 2 week break. That's normally what they do.
Yeah, this is normal. But anyways, what was supposed to happen, I think, was 2 movies were supposed to come out instead.
Oh
thought it
yeah.
was
Yeah,
3,
that's what I
right?
heard.
So, huh?
I thought it was 3.
2.
2. I'm pretty sure it was 2.
Oh, I thought it was
27.
It was
three.
2.
It could be 3. Could be 3. But it was supposed to be 2 or 3 movies, and then instead they're making it into 6 episodes, but they're going to be longer than the normal ones. So they're going to be.
They're not that long. I heard. Like I think the first 3 are only like 45 to,
No,
or
no,
55 minutes.
No, they
And
confirmed
then
that.
the last 3 are like an hour and something. The longest one's still only like an hour and 10 or
Yeah,
That's
but
not
they
much.
confirmed that all of them are
it's
over
not.
an hour.
all of them.
Yeah, they said all. Yeah,
No, dude.
yeah.
Nah, man.
Dude.
Fuck you,
First
look it
3
up.
aren't.
Yeah, the first 3 aren't over an
3
hour.
aren't.
The last 3
We
are.
fucking looked it up the other day. Remember?
I just don't see how.
But
they
you
can,
can't read anyways.
I don't see. How, I don't see how in.
I didn't read it. Somebody told me on YouTube.
You watched a video about it, a cartoon about it. So this is how long the episodes are gonna be.
Then if I don't understand something, I need them to draw it out.
So
No,
I
but
don't know how in,
because he was saying, I think you and Terry, Jordan and Terry were like, oh no, the episodes are way better. I'm like, no, I would have fucking way rather had the movies. And they're like, oh no, these episodes are gonna be an hour and a half long. I'm like, no, they're not gonna be fucking that long.
They were the rumors.
Yeah, the rumors were that they're
I
gonna be
just
super
don't
long.
see how in 6 episodes they can wrap that show up.
Exactly.
Oh, what?
There's so much fucking
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
on right
man.
now.
There is so much
Everyone
going on.
dies. That's how it ends.
That's
There-
probably, it's
wrapped
probably
up.
easy. Yeah, it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
I think okay.
Lord
so,
of Light prevails.
Okay, so so we'll
White
put our
Walkers prevail.
like let's make our guesses. Then. What do you think is gonna happen?
Oh, we're doing predictions.
Oh no.
Shotty last. Actually, fuck. Actually,
I'll
should I
go
go
first.
first?
I don't give a fuck.
Everybody
I
dies.
think the dragons are gonna come and fuck shit up. Dragon glass.
Oh wait, stop.
Dragon glass.
Only dragon glass. Stop fucking yelling in the mics.
The dragon glass is gonna come and fuck shit up, guys.
No, I said dragons are gonna come fuck shit
Then
up.
why is it dragon
The
glass?
dragons are going to be holding the glass.
No, because they'll probably end up making more dragon glass for the weapons. Because they know that it's
They're gonna
effective.
make more dragons out of the dragon glass.
They
Dragon-
collected so much dragon glass already.
Yeah, Dragonstone is built upon like a mountain of dragon glass.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, that's
There's
for
a
the,
dragon
that's for
inside of the dragon glass.
The weapons.
For
If you put all the dragon
the
glass
kill
together, it
The
becomes
White
a
Walkers.
dragon.
we're having 2 fucking separate conversations right now.
I know.
Everybody pause. First, everybody, spoiler alert. We should have done that. If you haven't,
Fuck
if
that.
you're not
If you
caught
haven't
up,
watched now, fuck yourself.
Yeah, seriously, if you're one of those like 1%ers who hasn't watched Game of Thrones, yeah, go fuck yourself.
And if your name is Jyoti and you just don't like it, yeah, fuck you.
but okay, predictions go. Quick styles now.
I just said.
Oh, what did you say?
I
Okay.
said the dragon.
Okay, that was the dumbest one ever. Go, Kevin.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win.
Who's gonna win?
The dragons.
The dragons.
The dragon's gonna sit on the throne.
Shut the
Is that
fuck
what you're
up.
trying to tell me?
What I think? What's her name?
Oh, who doesn't no names?
Goddamn, you shut your mouth.
He got put on the spot and he fucking
No, he
broke
wanted to
down
Go.
like
He
a
wanted to go. He wanted to go first.
I'm folding like a fucking deck of cards right now.
This is what he wanted.
Okay, so what is your guess?
What the fuck's her name? Khaleesi?
Well, that's
Yeah,
one of
her name, but
one of her
okay.
names.
Daenerys Stormborn,
Yes.
mothers
One
of
of her
dragons.
Yes.
Her
Technically a title.
and John Boy over there are
John
gonna get
Boy.
together.
Her nephew, you mean? Go on.
Oh yeah, I guess
You forgot?
I forgot.
That was like the last episode, wasn't it?
I know, I forgot.
Who cares? All the Targaryens are fucking inbreds
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the first episode, her brother like grabs her tit. So
So whatever, they're
She's
gonna
used
get
to it.
together. They're gonna rule the fucking throne straight up.
You think both of them? Okay, whatever. Anyways, go.
Mother of Dragons.
I like that.
No, okay,
Go on.
Okay.
No, that's what everybody wants. So
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Okay, so you're okay. Go.
Ned Stark's coming back.
Cal Drogo.
Putting it out there.
No, Ned Stark comes out as a White
Drogo's
Walker.
gonna sit on the.
Khal Drogo's back, buddy.
100%. I'll be.
I think-
on board
Oh,
with
if that
I'm
if he
I'm
came,
almost
In the
sure he's gonna
preview,
have
they
a
showed-
cameo.
In the
I'm
preview,
almost
they
sure he's
showed
gonna
the
have a little
crypt.
bit.
100% he's coming back.
What?
In the preview, they had a crypt. They showed his crypt. 100%
Okay,
he's
okay,
coming back.
first,
Ned Stark.
Yeah, fuck you.
First,
yeah, I said that.
you're a fucking
Yeah,
bitch,
I
dude.
said that,
I'm gonna
bitch.
kick your ass. Oh my god, fuck it. Okay, end the podcast. Don't fucking do that shit, man.
And on that note, thank you.
Fuck you. Go, Kevin. Go, Kevin. Fuck. Fucking hell, man.
I don't know. I feel like nobody's gonna really win. I think Westeros is gonna go to shit. Gendry might come back and sit on the throne. Gendry's gonna be in the mix.
Who's
somehow.
that?
He is the only Baratheon left
Oh, okay.
who technically still has the most legitimate claim to the throne, I guess.
There's no
But
real
it's in-
legitimate
Yeah,
one.
it's
None
in,
of-
it's in
nobody
such
has legitimate.
chaos right now that
Honestly,
anybody,
that's
Fuck
one
it.
thing I couldn't keep up with is just the
Who should be there?
dude, man. There's just so many fucking families involved.
there's only like
They all bang each other. It's
Handful.
like,
I'm gonna go with.
what?
Bang each
I know. I'll go next. I'm gonna go with just Jon Snow. You know, the Song of Fire and Ice. He's
Yeah.
half fire, half Targaryen, half Stark.
Yeah.
Ned's sister.
Yeah.
Fire and Ice. He's the fucking guy. Boom.
Yeah, that's actually my guess too. That
Yeah.
he's gonna.
No, fuck you.
piggybacking on his guess.
Fuck, I should have gone
That's what
first.
happens when
Man.
you go last.
You did this to yourself.
I was gonna go next. You fucking bypassed me.
No, you said
I'm
you're
not-
going last. You shot it last.
I did. Fuck. Shit.
You played yourself.
Anyways,
You have to go with somebody stupid like Sansa. Fuck her.
Oh, dude, I fucking
Sweetie
hate her
loves her.
so much. She's the worst actress too. I fucking hate her
Hey
acting,
man.
and I hate that she's in Phoenix. I fucking hate her.
hates that
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a nice lady.
She's a nice lady.
But no,
Isn't she married to Joe Jonas?
Shut up.
She is.
Yeah.
She's married to one of the Jonas brothers.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Why do you guys know these things?
Yeah, how the fuck do you know these things?
Because now she's related to Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah. And I know Priyanka.
And that's
she's my
hilarious.
homegirl.
And I know.
And I know her. She's my homegirl.
I know. Priyanka.
The same way I know Little John.
Yeah.
What?
Lil Jon wished Kevin a happy birthday, looking right into his eyes.
So, but Kevin
Kevin
was
knows him.
So
They
drunk.
had a connection.
Or was that David who was just
David.
like
David
that?
was.
Yeah,
David
didn't even realize Lil Jon was at the club.
Yeah. But wait. Okay.
Hurry
So John, fuck you. So Jon Snow wins, right? But it's gonna be like that John and Khaleesi almost win, but Khaleesi's gonna die right at the end. It's gonna be the last death.
I like that.
It's gonna be the last death. But John is gonna he's not gonna be like, oh, I'm king though. He's gonna be like, no, it's not gonna be like
We're
this.
all kings.
Something like that. But he's gonna deny the throne. He's like, I'm not gonna be.
He's gonna burn it down with one of the dragons.
So no, I don't. Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh,
That's a really
what
cool
if he goes in and
That's
kills
a cool
Cersei and shit?
Here, I got a
That's a
question.
cool one.
How do you think Cersei's gonna be killed? Because that bitch needs to fucking.
She has a
die.
Dragon
prophecy,
dick.
though. She has it.
The dragon's
what
gonna
ha-
fuck
happens
her.
at the end of it? What happens at the end of it?
You guys forgot about
No,
the,
I remember it. But what happens at the end of it?
No,
It's
no. I forgot.
Fuck, I forgot what
No,
happens at the
refresh
end.
me.
she had that prophecy.
Yeah,
that
it's
her,
all come true so far.
That her brother is gonna kill her. But which brother? Because there's still Tyrion
there's
or
still
Jamie,
two.
and Jamie's
gone
Jamie's
now.
going through that character arc, so he might come back.
Yeah,
and kill
he
her.
could kill her.
Which makes
yeah, it's
complete
gonna be
sense.
Jamie. It's gonna be
Yeah,
Jamie.
because of
'Cause
what
that's
they've
what-
gone through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
He
gonna be
stabbed
him,
her
and it's
before.
gonna
Now he's gonna stab her again.
Unsheathed.
Unsheathed.
Oh, actually, the first time was unsheathed too. That's why they got kids. That's so messed up.
It's a good time.
Well, on that note,
Are all the dragons male?
Huh?
No. That's why she. I don't think so.
Wait.
Okay, one's dead.
They're non-binary. You fucking cisgendered asshole.
Who are you? Who the fuck are you to decide?
Damn it.
Wait, aren't the smaller two girls? And then the one.
No, I think
Why,
they
just
are.
because
I
they're
thi-
small, Preeti?
Actually,
You
no.
fucking
How
bitch.
dare you?
You're a bitch. Fucking
Yeah.
spoiling shit for me.
Insensitive fuck.
Yeah, because
There are small boys out
One's,
there as well.
one's dead.
yeah,
Not
pretty sure-
dead.
one's the
White
winter
Walker.
one, the white
White
one
one,
now. Yeah,
The
and
winter one. The
The
winter
winter
soldier.
walker.
He's the winter soldier.
The winter soldier. And then the green one. I'm pretty sure they're all boys.
I thought.
Green one's dead, right?
No, green one's still up. Black and green are still. Or was it green that?
I'm pretty sure it was green.
I thought it was
green.
white that went down.
Pretty sure green.
Because there was one that was creamish.
It was the biggest one is the one that got shot down.
No, the biggest
That's
one
the
is
red
the
one.
black
No,
one.
that's a
number
red
one.
one. That's
That's
number
Drogon.
one.
That's
That's one that
fucking
she
number
rides.
one,
yeah.
That's
Oh,
one
okay,
she rides. No, not that
Oh
one.
yeah, I think she lost Visenion.
Yeah,
How
the
do
one
you
named
know
after her brother.
Yeah.
See,
can
these
know
guys
their
fucking
names.
know the name
The
of
other
the dragon.
guy, the other
I don't even know the
dragon's name is
names of the
Rhaegon.
dragons. I'm like, there's a blackish one, a black and red one, there's a greenish one.
Anyways, let's wrap this up.
Alrighty.
Thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Quite the contrast on the whole thing. But we're just going to leave you with a quick thought of the day. Good job.
Honestly, I want to bring it back to our first, what we started with, even though we went like miles and miles off one of the first things, which is just, you know what?
The golden rule.
The golden rule. Love yourself.
That's not the golden
Shut up,
rule.
man. The golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was gonna say love yourself how you want to love others.
I don't want to love others like that.
That could be quite the spectrum.
I know. Treat others how you would like to be treated. That's
Yeah,
the
man.
golden rule, man.
We are all a one race, human. Thank you all for joining us. Hit us up at ltbcast@gmail.com, ltbcast on Instagram, and we're going to line up an interview for hopefully episode 20, so look out for that. Thanks. Peace.
Yeah, fuck the aliens.
Aliens is what we have. And one second. And fuck Jorah.
Good thing this doesn't get drowned out by music.